one, go.
Hey guys, this is your usual Arpan Ghosh, but today it's not just going to be me. I have a friend with me today and another friend with me today. Yeah, the first one is Archit. Archit is from Kolhapur, and he will be co-hosting this session with me because we have none other than Pete Boyle with us, one of the most decorated fans in the Manchester United in the club right now. Hello, Pete. Hello, Archit. How are you guys doing?
Fine, thank
Hello,
you.
thank you, Arpan.
Yeah. So Archit is from Kolhapur. Pete, just to introduce him for the starters, those who are watching us. Kolhapur has a huge fan base, and just to give you a backstory of this fan club in Kolhapur, this fan club started with two brothers. The elder brother supports Manchester United. The younger brother supports Liverpool.
Okay.
And both clubs, yeah, it's a bit weird, but the interesting thing is both the fan clubs started on the same day.
Yeah,
And Archit, I would ask you to take over.
yeah. His name is Samir Kesakar. He's a president of MUFC Kolhapur, and actually we used to watch you leading all the chants in the beer cafe, having a beer in your hand, and we thought, why wouldn't we start the same? So we started the same in our fan club right now.
Well, when I was a young child in Manchester, I grew up close to the ground, but it was always very flattering. Even then, long before Sir Alex Ferguson took over, we had fans all over the world, and it's something of people of my generation we're very proud of. Now, you hear negative things sometimes about fans, but to me, when we used to have fans with such dedication, there was a show on the BBC radio 25 years ago where he interviewed different United fans. He interviewed me from Manchester, he interviewed someone from London, he interviewed somebody from Scandinavia, but he interviewed this guy from the middle of Africa. Never seen United play, but to watch it, when United played a home game, he had to walk about 12 miles through different terrain and to a village that had a radio, and he'd sit around this radio. So that was his match day, and he gets to know all the players through that, and he'd make that dedication of walking 12 miles through all sorts of shortcuts and just to sit down and listen to somebody's radio. And that's what Manchester United's been about to me. We've always been the most famous club and the biggest sport club in the world, and you're always going to get negative people against it. But to me, I'm from the generation that's proud of having a fan base as diverse as we are, from all backgrounds, all religions, all backgrounds at all. It's great. It's one big family.
Yeah, everyone called you a chant specialist also, I guess, in UK.
Yeah. How the Pete? Please continue. Yeah. So I was thinking how the atmosphere is actually there inside the stadium when, suppose when we are winning a match, we are very closely associated with this Stretchford crowd. We all love to see that kind of a chant, that kind of a atmosphere. But you have been there. You can give us a first-hand experience about that. How is it actually to be there?
Well, I've always enjoyed singing, and I got well known particularly in the 90s, because atmospheres at all football grounds in England they deteriorated because of all-seater stadiums. But I was one of the people who always stood up, and I wasn't. A lot of people wanted to stand up and sing, but they were terrified of nobody joining in, and they get embarrassed. I don't get embarrassed. So I stand up, and no one joins in. I stand up again and stand up again. But so we wrongly used to get criticised for lack of atmosphere, but we're most critical because we're most critical of our own support. Some ways it's good, but our atmosphere at Old Trafford, there's not many better atmospheres in not certainly not in the Premier League. It's probably only Crystal Palace who could rival it because they've got a supporters group. Now, it used to be much better standing. It's been hard on the seating because fans are all dotted around the ground. In the old days, I would turn up with my friends and we'd all stand together in a group and we'd all have a sing-song, we'd have a few drinks in the pub before the game. But once you get in the ground, he sat in the other side of the ground, he sat up there, I'm sat down there. and it's hard to generate it. It's all clubs have had the same issues. That's why, with no exceptions, most times at every Premier League or any football game, the away fans are usually the most vocal fans in that stadium, because they are generally the fans that come together. But at United, in the last 5 or 6 years, we've had a real good positivity, and the atmosphere's got better. And that's because we set up a group. Some people don't like calling it a singing section, but we set up a group of more vocal fans. And at first, it was in the old J stand part of the ground. But then some other people got involved, and we've called a group the TRA, the Red Army, and they have really took it forward from my initial involvement, and they took it forward now. They've got lots of members, and you've seen the atmosphere. You've seen the video clips yourself on the internet. The atmosphere's got better and better, and it's almost like turning the home games into an away game for an atmosphere, which is a good thing. So, yeah, it's very special. And for me, going back in the last 30 years, to stand up in a stadium and have 60, 70,000 people singing a chant that you've made up, it's quite a nice feeling.
Yes, exactly. And that chant on Eric Cantona, like, who can ever forget that? Like, how did you? So, yeah, like, what was your inspiration for that?
Well, the inspiration for a lot of my songs were in the early 90s. We were on the verge of having a very good team, but we sang a lot of songs about players from the past, and I think I decided that we needed some players about the players. We needed some songs about the players who were playing then. So I started making different songs, so like Giggs and Sharp, and then Cantona joined, and I don't know, Eric epitomised the changing mood at the club for the good, and I just got inspired, and I wrote different songs, and I wrote one with lots of verses, and the thing is now it's still probably the most popular United song going, and that's like, you know, Eric Cantona left 23 years ago. He left United, and we still sing his name.
So how was your experience with Eric Cantona?
How was what? Sorry.
How was your experience with him?
I've been very lucky to meet him lots of times, and the funny thing is that whoever I meet Scott McTominay, or I meet Damian, any player, I'm still humble because they still play for United. But I'm usually quite cool with it, yeah. I'm usually, alright lads, even deep down I'm still. But when I first met Eric and I met Sir Alex for the first few times, I was very, very shy. Not shy, I was a bit nervous. It was like when you're 16 and you're going on a date with your girlfriend and you really like her and you don't know what to say. I was a bit like that. When Eric and Sir Alex said, "Hello, Pete," I went, "Hello, hello," you know. And then I got to the stage.
The voice is gone then.
Yeah, I know. I got to the stage where I'm more cool with it. I'm still buzzing, but I've been very lucky. I've lived a dream a bit because, you know, I've had some, you know, I've had some personal time with both of them, and probably met Eric quite a few times. I've been in his company, but this time last year was probably one of the most memorable because we went to Norway together, me, him, and his two brothers, and we had a wonderful weekend in Norway. I hosted an event with him where he was the guest on stage, and a little private event, and we went out on a boat. 6 of us on a speedboat. Eric was driving the boat into the Norwegian fjord, drinking with Eric on a coach for 2 hours and having jokes. And to be honest with you, you have to pinch yourself sometimes. So that was that was brilliant. And again with Sir Alex, you know, I've spoke to him in the last 12 months, and we've had, you know, we have nice chats together. Now, I don't speak to him all the time, but at the end of the day, I'm just a fan. So to be able to have I've been in the company of 2 people like that on more than one occasion. I'm very lucky, really. Yeah, I try to be cool with it. Deep down, I'm still like a little kid.
something we all share with you. Something that we all are. And so Archit has some very interesting questions for you today. Archit, can you start shooting them?
Yes.
Yeah.
How are you coping with the you're not able to go to the stadium to watch all the games? So how are you coping with this situation right now?
Yeah, it's not easy. The start of lockdown, when the concern is your family and everyone being okay, and football took a back seat, to be honest with you. But then it started coming back, and it would have been difficult had we got through to the Europa final. I really wanted to go. I know some people went out for the semi-final and that, and I really wanted to go, to be honest with you. And now it's difficult because the season's about to start, and we know why there's no fans there, but it's football without fans doesn't work. You can watch it on the telly, you can play crowd noises, but it's not football. So I'm ready to go back now. I'm ready for football fans to be allowed back, and it's hard to get excited about the season. Whoever else we sign one player already, a couple of young players, but I want to be back in the ground. I don't want to be back in the ground at the expense of with the danger of everyone getting poorly. But I want football back, but I want it back. It won't be back properly until me and my son can go to the game again.
Okay, so how's atmosphere when you watch the game actually when you will be there, like at the Stepford end?
Yeah, it's been, like I said, it's brilliant and it's getting better. And sometimes the atmosphere. Sometimes in the past, it's going to the game. It's not just about turning up and going in for the game. It's about everything that goes with it. It's about people around you, high-fiving people you know and seeing people you know, and then the songs and singing and getting behind the players. Yeah, it's good. It's good when you see you have a good result. And where I sit in Stretford End, I sit right by the tunnel. So at the end, if we've had a good result, Ollie turns to the fans and he's giving us that, and the players are like waving. And a lot of the players' families sit where I sit. So often the players are acknowledging the parents, and then Scott McTominay's dad sits near us, so we're waving over at them, and it's good. But the atmosphere it's good every game. It's not brilliant every game, but we sing every game. When you have a result like the City game before lockdown and beat them, and that was just a great occasion, and to score the second goal at the end. And I mean, after the game, the stadium's normally empty straight away. And the Stretford End, there was still like about 1,000 people in there half an hour after the game. We're all singing still, it's good. And like I said, we could win the first 10 matches of the season, but if there's no fans there, you don't appreciate it as much.
So, what's your best moment in the Stepford End, which you have visited till now?
It's probably going back quite a long time, and it's 1984. I was only 14 years old, and we played Barcelona at Old Trafford, and it was in what we used to call the full Europa League. It was the European Cup, wasn't it? It was UEFA Cup. Was it 1984? Yeah, 1984. It was UEFA Cup, and we played Barcelona at Old Trafford, and we were 2-0 down for the first leg, and Diego Maradona and Ronald Koeman, and we had a brilliant team, Barcelona. And at Old Trafford that night match, Barcelona, to win 3-0, and we won 3-0. And the atmosphere that night carried the team over. And anyone who was there that day, that was the best atmosphere they've ever experienced. People from my age, that was probably my favourite experience being in the Stretford End in my life. There was another game against Everton where we scored a last-minute winner. That was a brilliant one. And in recent times, I would say the City game I just mentioned before lockdown, when the Stretford End again was in full voice, and then Scott McTominay pounced on the error and scored a brilliant goal in here, the last kick of the game virtually. Yes, so they've been great memories.
Yeah, right. So, how long you have been supporting Man United? Like you have said, you gone to that game like you were 14 years old, right?
Yeah, I was very lucky. I know I don't look it, but I'm 50. I was 50 in April. And my first game was in 1974 when I was 4 years old.
Oh. Whoa. Wow.
Wow.
More spooky, I know the day. It was the 16th of November 1974, and we beat Aston Villa. But on that same day, Paul Scholes was born. So when I went to my first, Paul Scholes
Like the universe is ever so lazy. The universe is ever so lazy. I'm trying to imagine. I'm just trying to put your face on this face app thing that is pretty famous now, and I'm just trying to imagine a 4-year-old Pete Boyle like walking into the Stretford end and trying to scream, trying to sing a song. Like, it's hilarious in my mind. It's hilarious. I don't know how hilarious it might be in your heads, but in my head, it's hilarious. A 4-year-old Pete Boyle walking into the stadium.
I think that's at an early age what got me like so amazed by it, because in those days, lots of people wore scarves and colours. And my dad used to tell me to watch the game, but I was watching the fans like that because they all had scarves and badges on the back of the denim jackets with United, up the Reds, United slogan. People had badges on, loads of people, and when we scored, it was hard sometimes to watch the game and not watch the fans when you were a kid. And that's probably what got me so mesmerised and obsessed with the singing. But that was 1974. But my dad started taking me regular about 1977 when I was about 7. But my season ticket's been since I think it's 1986, so it's been quite a long time, really.
It's been quite a long time, to be very honest.
1970. We can't even imagine we are 4 years old and we are following Man United.
Yeah, I'm looking at a lot.
Yeah, please continue, please.
No, just saying, when a lot of people who are my age probably didn't go, because unless their parents went, they probably didn't go till they were maybe 10 or 13, 14. I was lucky to go at a very early age.
Thanks to your father for that. And Pete, so there's something that I would like to ask you. So, what is there any particular incident that ever made you think when you started with this singing? Like how was it to begin with? Now I know there are like millions of people who are singing your chants, who are following you. But how was the experience when you first went there with your own chant and you first started singing it with people joining in? When did it first start and what was the experience like?
I suppose that it's a double thing really, because you sing them in the pubs, but when I first started getting fans to sing songs, I was probably only about 14, but I probably looked about 17, 18, because a lot of people those days, if they looked younger, people would sort of laugh and not join in, and I think it's because I looked a bit older, and so then I didn't look like a little kid. I looked like a teenager, a bit older, and it's just having the bottle to do it really, or and not be, like I said a bit earlier, not be embarrassed or upset if no one joins in. Because at the start, I've seen grown men stand up to sing a song after a few drinks in the ground, and no one joins in, and they sit down and they're putting their heads in their hand, they're a bit embarrassed. Where I just used to carry on. So I probably started singing songs that weren't my songs, old songs, when I was 14. Probably started getting my own songs going when I was probably about 18, 19.
That is like even younger. So at 19, and you can hear people singing, like you're a bona fide celebrity at the age of 19, making the devil sing.
Yeah. I never really viewed it that way, but I know that. I think what's funny was when I was in my 20s, people actually thought I had a proper job paid by United, which I never have done. And I knew someone who worked in one of the offices at United, and people used to write letters in or emails in and say, "Can I have Pete's job when he retires?" I said, "What job?" You know what I mean? I thought it was like a proper, like nowadays they have things like, social media director, but they've never had an official singing job, you know what I mean? I wish they had done, but they never did. But people actually believed that there was. People used to write in and say, "Can I have Pete's job when he finishes?" Like, okay, yeah, but he hasn't. Pete just does what he wants, you know what I mean?
Singing at the opera of the devils.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In front of all the relatives.
Yeah. So Pete, like you have seen Ole play, and I can see your Twitter profile picture where you have a selfie with where you have a picture put up with Ole himself. Now, I would suppose that you knew Ole from before, and Ole knew you. Like, how have you ever had the chance to speak to him? And how does he look at this transformation? And how do you look at the transformation from Ole the player to Ole the manager?
Well, I remember I've met Ollie a good few times, and I remember when he was first coaching at United after he finished playing, and I could see what he was doing with the reserves, doing well, and then he obviously went to Norway, and he did really well there. I've met him since he became manager, and he knows. I don't chat to him about what he's doing. I don't speak to him. I'm not having a issue like that, but I think that. I'm like a lot of fans. I might not have maybe thought he was the one to appoint, because I thought we might have needed a bigger name and a more established manager. And he's obviously gets bad publicity because of the Cardiff job.
Yes.
But I think what's wrong is he gets overlooked for the good stuff he's done at United before as a coach, and when he was in Norway, where he did some very, some quite amazing stuff really for that league. But once he became manager, I was determined to completely support, like I support any manager, and I can see that he's got, because it's United, it sells papers for criticise and all that, and he's going to have good times and bad times. Look, if Alex Ferguson, if we had social media when Fergie was manager, people would have wanted Fergie out for the first 4 or 5 years, even longer. Yeah. When we didn't win the league in '92, when Leeds won it, they would have said, "Oh, he's blew it now. Let's get rid of him." Right now, every manager's going to have up and downs. Even after Fergie had won the league and won the European Cup, there was people saying, "Get rid of Fergie." When 2007, bring Mourinho in. Some people were saying then. Fergie came back and won 3 titles on the run. Now, okay, Fergie's different than Ollie, but what Ollie's done in that short time, he's got rid of players we need to get rid of. There's other players that need to go. We know that, and he's brought some good players through. He's signed players now. He's getting his own team now. He wasn't his own team at the start, and I just think that you've got to give a manager time. Some fans want instant success. But now Ollie's the manager, he's got a good backroom team around him. I think that we've got to give Ollie a few transfer windows and support him.
Exactly. I agree to that. Yeah, Archit, back with your questions.
Yeah. So, what are the thoughts of Ole in the United Kingdom? Like, how people are treating him?
Well, it's supposed to be for everyone. I think at the end of his first took over that season, we started really well. And maybe after winning at Chelsea in the cup, we went on a decline. We had a bad run, and towards the end of that season, I think a lot of fans thought the honeymoon was over, and maybe we need a change. But I was always of the mindset, like a lot of other fans, that it wasn't Ollie's complete team. If you give a manager a job, you've got to let him bring his own players and mould his own team together. So I think it was split between fans who thought, get another manager in and let's just give him a chance. A lot of the internet fans are very fickle. A lot of all fans are fickle, but there's a lot on the internet who just always want him out. But being at United, it's always going to divide opinion. If there'd be people slagging off Cantona when he was playing loud, if people slagging off Fergie, there'd be people slagging off Roy Keane, if people are slagging off Schmeichel, Van der Sar, you name it, it wouldn't be good enough. Andy Cole would have been getting absolutely abused for sometimes. They're saying he's missing too many chances. The bigger picture, we all have opinions, and there's more scrutiny because there's so much access. We can do things like this. People can do video. People have opinions all the time. It gets out there to a bigger audience. I think that I think there's a lot. I think amongst the match-going support, people are backing Ollie. I think the hardcore support are backing Ollie. I think most people who go to the games are backing Ollie. I think that you probably don't get as long as you used to because it's in football nowadays. But as I previously said, I think he needs at least 2 or 3 transfer windows to prove his worth and to mould the team together. That's what my personal opinion is, and I think there's more people think like me than don't think like me.
Exactly, and at least Kolkata is like most of the fan clubs in India. They are backing Ole because we are on social media and we can see the fans. And most of the people think that Ole needs more time. And we really appreciate the kind of work he has done till now, getting rid of I wouldn't call them dead wood, but not really United standards, the players that we had. And the Alexis Sanchez incident was really unfortunate because the comments he made on social media again. Well, another thing, for the fans, if I'm not trying to defend the fans, but yes, the thing is that sitting so far away from the club, having no communication to understand what the club is doing, it is very normal for people to get really excited, get really anxious, and love. And nonetheless, all the fans love United. They love the club, and their love might come out in a different way. So that is the reason I think people get have too much of expectations, and when we cannot fulfill them, because you look at Jadon Sancho's situation right now. If you look at the Jadon Sancho situation, how is the mood there in Manchester with this situation?
Well, I think people think it could still happen. Some people are thinking, is he as good as people say he is? We know he's a good player, but he's not necessarily stood. No, we're not all experts. He's not necessarily completely stood out and played for England or whatever. But yeah, I'd like him. I think what it would be, sometimes it's a statement of intent, and the Van Beek signing is good. Most fans think we need 2 or 3 players, and having a prominent signing like Sancho would be a step to say we mean business. Like Chelsea have gone into the market and done a few bit of dealings. You need to, let's be honest. I mean, this time, Ollie's first season, in that summer, the media and everyone was saying we were the worst United team in 30 years, and it was the best City team ever. They were the best team in the history of the Premier League and all that nonsense. Now, the best team in the history of Premier League couldn't defend the title. And we played them 4 times last season. We beat them, and we beat them 3 times out of 4, right? And okay, they finished above us, but I think they lost more league games than us in the end, City. So, considering we were the worst team in 30 years, they were the best team in the world. It's quite a turnaround. So, I think that when people say, "What's your expectations for the season?" If we can sign somebody like Sancho and maybe one other defender, maybe, then being a club like United, you've got to be thinking not just top 4. You've got to be thinking we want to go for the title. Doesn't mean we're going to win it. We've got to be. There's no point saying you're going to go for the title if your squad is so thin and it's not good enough that you've only just finished 15th before. But with us now, we've made progress already, and you've got to think along the lines of Man United should be saying we intend to fight for this title this season.
Do you think that this team can win the title even if we do not sign Jadon Sancho?
I think that we can improve, and I don't think Liverpool can be as good as they are. I think they're still a good team, but I don't think they can be that good. I think they were probably better Liverpool 2 seasons before last season, if I'm being honest. But I think it's United, City, Chelsea, or Liverpool can win the title. I just think that if we push on, we've got to be at our best. I think we can push on. There's no reason why we can't win it. I think it's quite open.
Wow, I love that optimism that you have. And
Yeah, exactly.
exactly. Yeah. So I was speaking to Andy Mitten last week, and he had the same kind of. He was thinking about the same things that you just mentioned. But yeah, so Pete, I think we are running short on time because the meeting will end in 5 minutes. So I just need to ask you one small question. It is from all the fans in India because this is a fan to another fan, to a bigger fan, maybe. Um, is there a message that you want to deliver to Indian fans? Because I cannot tell you if you ever come down to India. Manchester United was supposed to come down to India this season, and they were supposed to one of the clubs in near my home, and we went crazy because we wanted to go to see the match, but it didn't happen. So we are heartbroken anyway. But we support Man United day in day out. We watch the matches. We have our screenings, and we would love to like there. If we can, we would love to have you over as well someday if you ever come to India. So, is there a message for the Indian fans from you, from Pete Boyle?
Yeah, definitely. Well, look, as I said at the start, I'm proud of fans from all over. And one of the privileges I've had in the last 15 years, 20 years, is travelling to watch United all over the world, and also travelling to meet fans in lots of Scandinavia, in Malta, in Poland, in Ireland. It's a great time. Denmark, Sweden. So if ever you want to have a supporters function with me and David May or Brian McClare or Gary Pallister or whatever, right? Bring us over, and we can maybe do it and watch a match together, and I can lead all the chat for you in your bar. But that'd be great. That'd be perfect for me. I'd love to come over and visit.
Yeah.
Ask, contact me. But besides that, just keep on cheering the Reds, and it's great. I'm proud of you. You should be proud of yourselves for supporting United. Keep the faith.
Thank you so much. And can we just sign off with your favorite chant coming from you?
Yeah, well, it's got to be that. Be our anthem, and it's we are just one of those teams that you see now and then. We often score 6, but we seldom score 10. We'll beat them at home, and we'll beat them away. We'll kill any bastards that get in our way. We are pride of all Europe, the cock of the north. We hate the Scousers, the Cockneys, of course. We are united without any doubt. We are the Manchester boys. La 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 la. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being there. Thank you so much. This was amazing. We loved having you. And yes, the song you sang right now, I will make sure that both Kolhapur and Red Army Kolkata, we sing the song in our screenings and send it over to you. We'll be in for that.
Take care. Speak soon. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers, man. Cheers. Cheers.